And here we are for another Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Although now I think that is gonna be kind of quite a challenge for the new generation of the new generation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I mean we've, as you can see, we finally finished the Infinity War arc. They defeated Thanos. The Endgame is over. Most of the old generation are either gone or retired or gone somewhere else, and now we have to get to the new generation. And of course, one of the new generations that we are have to follow now is none other than Spider-Man. I already say my piece in many videos about my feelings about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I don't need to tell you right now in this video. I already also told you that Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite Marvel superhero movies, so I don't need totally to explain a lot. I already explained a lot that despite the differences, we do have a soft spot, and we kind of like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And well, here we are with the second Spider-Man movie from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Far From Home. And well, what a surprise! I liked the film, so it's rare for me to dislike a Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, again, we did have some lows and some lowbrow movies, like Captain Marvel we had this year, which was I thought it was okay, but many people kind of hated it. But still, hating a Marvel movie is nowadays kind of at least hard to hate. Oh wait, scratch that. We had Dark Phoenix, and this is technically a Marvel film. Okay, forget what I said. But yeah, what was Spider-Man Far From Home? I don't get why people made a big deal when the trailer came out. Mostly because people felt cheated that it kind of quote unquote spoiled Avengers Endgame. Personally, it didn't affect me, because if you go into cinematic logic, it's gonna be kinda obvious. Although I do, at least for the benefit of the doubt, I will say that fans, I think it will have been kind of like I think it would have been wiser for the marketing to at least hold out the trailer after Endgame. So if people get desperate to bring out the trailers, maybe it wouldn't have a little bit of that backlash. But on the other side, people wouldn't get the chance to anticipate films. Although, that's no excuse. Sometimes I do get anticipated for films that I see the trailer one or 2 months before it comes out. Okay, so enough talking about it. I'm gonna say that Spider-Man Far From Home is kind of like a funny movie. It was fun. Don't expect to be very epic from Avengers Endgame. And I think this is good, because it's gonna be, if you get kind of like a 2 doses of epicness, probably the world is gonna implode. So it's nice to take a break with a movie a Marvel movie that it has kind of like a single plot. A single plot with the correct elements. Doesn't necessarily have to be, very super heroic or very super deep. It just go make a movie that is fun, but at least has the intention of showing some little bit of growth into it. So grow, but don't grow up too fast. So that's my non-spoiler review. I'm gonna try my best to not spoil too much about the movie, but I hold no promises. But so here it goes. It's time for me to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, which basically is technically Spider-Man Goes to Europe, which which kind of remind me that years before there was this TV series of Spider-Man that I just saw this movie of Spider-Man going to China, and boy, that movie was boring as hell. At least this one is an improvement. Alright, so basically the movie takes place right after Avengers. Most like they even got a kind of like a small memoriam to Tony Stark, who died. They also get a memoriam to Captain America, who, well, he didn't die, but he just retired and became an old guy. And we also have Vision, who was killed, and he didn't come back because they needed the Mind Stone. And of course, we also have a picture of what was it, Black Widow / Natasha, because she died in order to retain the Soul Stone. So yeah, we got a memoriam from the high school kid, and we did kind of get a little bit of an update about what happened, because if you remember, the Thanos event kind of wiped out half of humanity, and it was the effort of the Avengers to bring those people back after 5 years. But so the people who came back after that 5-year absence, they didn't age. So and that moment they dubbed it the blip. So apparently these kind of people, they have to continue on with their lives, almost like nothing happened, and well that's basically it. Kind of worked out, kind of like a natural phenomena that happened, and people are trying to to deal with it, although kind of easily, but they don't show that into the movie. The biggest thing that happened in this movie is that, Peter Parker, he is going to a trip to Europe but because of the school trip and all this stuff, and his biggest plan is that he wants to propose to the girl that he likes, and the girl is none other than MJ, Mary Jane. If you remember the last Spider-Man Homecoming movie, she was there, but not technically there. She was kind of like this snarky girl who appeared everywhere, and they were like, "What the frick are you doing here?" And then at the end, she said, "Oh, they call me MJ. They call me MJ." And yeah, she becomes the kind of like she becomes a target affection for Peter, and he just wants to propose to her when they get to France. And that's what happened. They go there, but of course Peter say that, I just want to take a break from being Spider-Man. Please, no one call me. I just want to take a break. Especially considering that since he was technically the Tony Stark's apprentice, people kind of begin to ask him, and many people expect that he becomes the next Tony Stark, and that it brings out kind of like a pressure out of him when he just wants to enjoy vacations. So he starts in Venice, but then he just and then he just finds out that Nick Fury was following him, and they tell him that there is this threat that is happening after one incident, of course. That threat, it involves some elemental from different dimension that they came to that dimension, and it's destroying everything. The world is being threatened, and they need him because he's the only hero available. But aside from that, they got another guy that came from another dimension. It's a guy named Quentin Beck, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who basically he is this superhero who they dub him Mysterio. If you know here's the thing that I want to tell you, and this is gonna be kind of like a mild spoiler, but if you know the mythos of Spider-Man, you know that Mysterio is one of Spider-Man's biggest villains. He is this guy with this kind of like a fishbowl head helmet that is a master's illusions, let's say. And honestly, truth to be told, I'm actually glad that they brought him. This is probably one of the few supervillains that I did wanted to see a live-action version out of it. I mean, think about it. We had the Green Goblin. We had Sandman. We had Electro, although the Electro was pretty bad. And considering that it comes from this time, the Disney Marvel universe, although it's still having the Sony mark, you know that they're gonna do right. I mean, last time they did it really right with the Vulture. The Vulture wasn't exactly in the comics one of the most interesting villains, but they made it awesome. But okay, anyway, the thing is that Peter kind of still refused because he just wants to live he just wants a normal life. He just wants just a vacation. But then let's say that Nick Fury kind of hijacks their vacation. They give them upgrades, and they give just to keep an eye on Peter so he can do his superhero duty. This kind of comes up as some of the most quirky elements of this movie. It's really fun. There are some parts that comes kind of dubiously heroic. It feels like it's a Saturday morning cartoon that came back to life. But don't worry, there's a little bit of heart into it, so that one I can really accept it. Some jokes land, some jokes doesn't land too much, but I was having fun, so I'm not gonna be too critical about it. I like the thematic that this movie has, because in this one, it's mostly kind of like it kind of has a little bit of a dilemma with Peter Parker, but it also gives you a little bit of pity on the poor guy. First of all, I know that we all know that he is the superhero, and he has now to do superhero duties. But at the same time, he's just a teenager who wants to enjoy life, but he just gets dragged on kind of forcefully into this whole mission, and Nick Fury is like, "You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You have to do your duty, and you have to do your duty." But at the same time, Peter, he just wants to, have a good time with the trip, because he just wants to enjoy as far as he could, and he just wants to try his best to impress MJ. And well, in a way, it's understandable. And he even talks with Quentin. Quentin, the guy who becomes Mysterio, and there are some heartfelt moments, I gotta admit. There's also comes a little bit of a plot where Peter, of course, he feels a little bit of the pressure that many people are looking up to him to become, the next Tony Stark, for lack of better words. But he doesn't feel ready. He doesn't feel the pressure out of it because in a way, he's not Tony Stark. He's not Iron Man. He's just Spider-Man. He's just technically a teenager who kind of now has too much into his hands, too much responsibility now. I wish this could have been handled a little bit harder, but I don't think that the movie needed to be too harsh, especially now that we just came out from Endgame. And if I have to continue a little bit more, I'll say that this is gonna be a little bit spoilerish. So right now, I think it is time for the usual spoiler zone. And well, the spoiler zone is that the item that Tony was given from Tony is none other than sunglasses that has technological advances. I don't know what was the name of the. I think it was called Annie. I kind of forgot the name of that sunglasses thing. But this sunglasses even has the power to control millions of drones from the satellite. And after kind of like a mission almost that Peter kind of the bungle, he just gives it to Quentin because he feels he doesn't feel like he can live up to the expectation of being, you know, a superhero in Avengers. And well, I can understand him because Nick Fury kind of really rants him really harsh. He rants him even when he kind of doesn't deserve it. I don't know what is the deal now with this Marvel thing, treating Spider-Man like he is kind of like an eyesore when he's not. He's not. He's doing his best. He's not perfect, but he's doing his best. They kind of always treat him like crap, and that mesmerized me. I mean, Tony didn't treat him very well, but still, you can see that he is trying his best. So come on, let him give it a break to the poor kid. Oh, I forgot to tell you that Quentin Beck / Mysterio. He's played by Jake Gyllenhaal. He's doing he does a good job, I'll say. At first in the first half. But like I say, this is kind of like the spoiler section, so I'll tell you. La-di-da, you know Mysterio, he's the bad guy. He finally gets in control of the drones, and it is revealed that he is basically he is one of those guys who hate Tony Stark. And not only him, he actually formed a team of people who previously worked with Tony, and they kind of hate his guts. So they kind of decide that they are gonna destroy everything from his legacy. And yeah, some of those people, they're even people who we didn't even remember that they were there. Like one of the villains that are helping him is none other than just this wormy scientist from the first Iron Man movie. And yeah, they're all angry against Tony Stark, and they just want to ruin all the legacy, everything from his legacy. And although the plan is kind of stupid, Quentin Beck, he's actually very angry at Tony Stark because he made kind of like an holographic experiment that Tony just kind of dissed him off. Well, he is angry about it, so he just wants to use his illusions so they can wreak havoc during the whole city and make him look like a superhero. So basically, he is kind of like Syndrome from The Incredibles, let's say. Of course, that the problem is that what he's doing is that he's using the drones to create mass destruction, even affecting civilians. So yeah, don't expect to be kind of like a big level threat, technically like Thanos. I mean, we need a kind of like a break from that. I mean, come on. But I do like that from that moment, things get kind of interesting, and it focuses on the things that matter, and in developing Peter Parker's dilemma relationship and what he wants to do. There's even a moment that it has great special effects. That I can tell you. Just fast forwarding to everything. we do have kind of like a really cool climax there, and that's the least I could tell you for now about it. And yeah, I think that technically covered up this movie. And by the way, yes, like every Marvel movie, it does have a mid credit scene, and which kind of tells you what is the next probably quote unquote next threat of the next movies, and the quote unquote joke at the post credit scene. But I have to tell to you about the mid credit sequence. The mid credit sequence, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what it is, but I'll tell you one thing. Probably a really beloved, a pretty beloved character appears. A character that you love to hate from the Spider-Man movies. That's right. None other than Jonah Jameson appears. But to my biggest surprise, you know who they got? Yep, they got J.K. Simmons again. He's bald. He has the voice of Jonah Jameson. Yep, he's there. That's my. What he's doing there, I'm not gonna tell you. Why is he's part of the movie? No, nope. But that's the. I just wanted to blurt it out. I just wanted to blurt it out that. What he's gonna talk? Nope. I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen, what it is. But it really felt. It kind of felt like a glorious moment to see J.K. Simmons. I thought he was another guy, but at least this cameo was of Jonah Jameson is a million times better than the bullshit from Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I think it is time for end it here, because I'm just gonna say that Spider-Man Far From Home is far from being a bad movie. It's just actually fun. Just if you like Spider-Man, you're gonna enjoy this movie. Don't expect it to be grandiose. It's just a film that you're just gonna laugh. You're gonna enjoy it. It's just clear fun. No masterpiece. Sorry about that. And comparing to Homecoming, I would say that Homecoming was better, but not. I'm not gonna go harsh on it for a long, for a long shot. So check it out. It's definitely better than having Spider-Man go to China, barely doing anything.